Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and this is Eddie Marcus again. And I'm the guy that's trying to tell you that we should change the system. We've received the prophecy that the 400 years in which we've been under bondage, that we've been persecuted, worked out in slavery, and all that stuff is supposedly is coming to an end. But it has been prophesied, ladies and gentlemen. But I want you to know it's not going to just come to an end and everything going to flip. The switch is going to be flipped and everything's going to be all on the other side. It's going to be on our side. No, it means we got responsibility. We're going to have to take care and make sure that everything that needs to be done will be done. And if you're going to talk about changing the system, well, there are many ways we can do it. But I think one of the easiest ways, we got a good system to some degree set up already. We got a system that allows resources to be made, produced, and we got a system that's designed to make sure that these resources and et cetera are available to the people. There's a way that they can access them. The problem comes when we think about the stealing, the lying, like the things that God has given us, the resources, the oil, the gold, the silver, the minerals, and all those kinds of things. They are under the title of some corporation or some people. And that's stealing. That stealing is a system that's designed so people can say it's legal, but it's still stealing. And what we need to be happening right now, because the system is going down the hill, we need those people who are familiar with how we uh, uh, get those systems back, get that oil back for the people, get all the natural resources back for the people. And at the same time, we need folks who know how to do their logistics and make sure that everybody has access to the career that they love, that they want to engage themselves in. We need people who understand how that is done to think about it and start getting busy, making sure that it's done. So when the devil comes in and think he's thrown everything out and messed everything up, the Spirit of God will work in us in such a way that we just go right on into the new system, a new system where everybody has a career, everybody participates in life. Yes, my friends, everybody got a job, everybody got a career, and they are constantly making those things, those resources that the people have determined are absolutely necessary, that they meet their needs, their wants, and their desires, and that we'll never have to suffer for anything because we'll have plenty of everything that we have determined is required. And all of us participate in it, so there are none of us trying to say somebody's getting something for nothing. No, my friends, everybody working to make sure that none of us have to suffer. And this will bring us peace and prosperity, freedom and joy, fulfillment and satisfaction. And then we can actually live the life instead of dreaming about the life. And will become a true nation on this land where other people can see that everything is fine. And maybe they just might want to be like us, but not because we're not using money. The thing that we use is the love that we have for what we do and the joy that God gives us for doing just that. And we don't have to suffer for anything. What do you do with money? Buy stuff. You don't have enough money, so you have to keep on slaving just to get enough money. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I talk to you this way because this is serious business to me. I've been doing this at least for 40 some years. And I want to tell you, in my 40 some years, the people in response to this has been absolutely ridiculous. Let me tell you something. Life is a monster. People will mess over you. And if you don't wake up, that's all you're going to get. Look, I ended up in the military, in the United States Navy. How did I get up in the Navy? I had no desire whatsoever to be a military man. I had no desire to ever be in the military. But I got screwed. I got screwed by a woman who said that she loved me. I loved her. And we'd be together for the rest of our lives. Being broke or sick would never separate us. But I found out that was a lie. I found out that either she ran across somebody else with more money or had better sex. And walked away from me like I wasn't even there. Messed my head up. So the only thing I could do to breathe was join the military. So I'm telling you this because many, many brothers and sisters, regardless of your race, go through the same kind of thing. And being in the military, I was in there during a time when Ronald Reagan was president of the United States. And for anybody that's watching, you know Ronald Reagan didn't give a stink about poor people, and he didn't give a stink about black people. I recognize that in being in the military. And so I protested against that. The way I protested was to make sure that I didn't follow any orders. I'd rather have a dishonorable discharge rather than stand in the military and saying I got legitimacy. No, I didn't want any legitimacy from that. And so I ended up leaving the military. I didn't get a dishonorable, but I got a other than. And that was for a purpose. When I came out of there, the same thing that I was trying to do before is the same thing that I wanted to do. I wanted to do what would serve the people. And when I say serve the people, I'm talking about all the people. Back in those days, I didn't have this big distinction between black folks and white folks. To me, folks were folks. And everybody needed the same basic essentials for survival and to enjoy life. That's what I saw. So I came out still trying to do that, still trying to accomplish that. I ended up in Minnesota, and I found out that organizations in Minnesota, when it came down to standing up and resisting stuff like this, it was pathetic. I tried to attach myself to this and to attach myself to that and see what was going on, see what we could do. And it's just like people playing games. I mean, there were going to be no changes, and maybe they knew better than I that the system was established and coming along talking about changing things when people have made this stuff concrete, then it wasn't going to change. Maybe they knew that, but I didn't. I kept on trying. Tried, and everywhere I tried, it did not work. The people just were not interested. See, and I'm so convinced of it. To once I committed a crime against the people of the state. I took some money. Some people say I stole it. I took it. I took money and gave it away, and then went to the people that I took it from and told them that I took it, and told them why I took it, because I wanted to go to court and see if I could have the kind of trial that I can allow you, the people of Minnesota, and maybe the people of the country, to know that you are important to God, and God wanted you to know that. And I was the tool used to try to get that message to you. And everybody was resisting it. So I committed this crime so I can get a trial so you could possibly get that message. They outsmarted me. They would not allow me to get that attention. And so you still didn't know anything about it. You still didn't know anything about it. So I was still out there. But let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. The truth of the matter is this. You say you love God. How in the world can you say you love God and you do not love the people? See, what you got a fixation where people have told you what it means. Go to believe in Jesus. Go to church, pay your tithes, and don't be too bad. And just be able to confess every now and then when people ask, challenge you that Jesus Christ was the Son of God and he came here, lived through this life just like we did, was killed, rose from the dead. This begotten Son rose from the dead, but he died so you and I, who have victims who have lied and stinking like filthy rags, can get a chance to get in heaven because he died for us. And that's what we've been doing. That's why we've been for 400 years sitting right there in a slave position, because we did not have what it takes to wake up and get up. No, you can say you're being punished. Anytime you're being punished for doing wrong, you can always change. You don't have to wait 1,000 years before you change. You can change the next day, and things will be different because you changed. But see, we haven't changed. We still haven't changed. We still don't care about anybody. But I want you to know, ladies and gentlemen, that we got to be busy and taking care of what has to be taken care of in order for us to really be ready when there's whipping that comes down on America and the rest of the world. I would like to ask you this. How long do you think that God is going to allow the United States to ramrod all over the people? How long do you think that's going to happen? So far, God has allowed all of the evil of the USA to survive, and we, the people, be abused. Why? Ever since this nation has started, this has been going on. But I want to tell you that the end is coming. And when it comes, where will you be? Will you be on the boat, or will you be floating down the stream? The way it seems, the way things are going, God is waiting for everybody to turn evil. So maybe you can just destroy the whole earth, because that's exactly what people are doing. They are doing no good. Look at the little girls. I was watching something on television today. Little kids. They talking about putting makeup on, eyeshadow and stuff like that, trying to fix themselves up so they can look like a little prostitute. And then when a guy like Epstein come along and take advantage of them because you set them up, then you want to get mad, act like something is going on wrong that you didn't have anything to do with. You played 100% in whatever is going on. You remember that young lady named John Benet Ramsey? You remember her? Young girl. I forgot her age. She was somewhere young, very young, walking around trying to be a star. Well, maybe she wasn't trying to be a star. Maybe they just want her to look pretty. And ended up right now, she's gone, been gone, and nobody even know who did it. But really, that's what they're saying. They don't know who did it. But ladies and gentlemen, let's be real. Let's be real. Right now, evil is in the driving seat in America. Let me say that again. Evil is in the driving seat in America. Trump is as evil as they come. But only reason that Trump is in the driving seat is because we, the people of America, is just as evil. And some of us say, well, we're not that evil. We are not that evil. Well, you might think you're not that evil, but the world goes on. America goes on the way it's done because you do not have a relationship with truth. You don't have a relationship with love that would allow you to engage yourself in making that necessary change. And that is absolutely required. So I'm kind of upset because as far as I can tell, God has given me and shown me a plan that is utilized even in heaven. It's such a beautiful plan. And it will allow not just every American, man and woman and child, to enjoy that heavenly life, but anybody and everybody on earth. And when I look at my post, when I look at the viewership, 28, 3 months, 15, 2 years or 10 years, maybe 1 or 2, that tells me you're not thinking about the message. But I'm not upset because it's not me that you're rejecting. You are rejecting God who is trying to do something for you. Trying to do something for you. And you walk around here chasing after rainbows. Chasing after rainbows, getting nowhere. And it bothers me. Let me take it back. I got to catch. Excuse me. I had this note. I didn't want to pass it up. And this is what I want to say. I made this note because I wanted to make sure I didn't forget to add it to this post. God has made it possible for us to have heaven within and heaven without. Heaven within is utilized to guide us, the things to do, how to act, so we can, in our expression in daily life, we can represent the things that God is about. But now, the heaven, that what happens after you die, or if it's real, that heaven is created by God, and it already exists according to the information that I've been received through the Spirit. But it's not for everybody. It's only for certain people. And those are the people who love God, and they love God to the extent that they got the receipt. And the receipts are determined or weighed by how you responded to the needs of people. Were they hungry? Were they sick? Were they homeless? And all of that, if they were, tells of God that you didn't know anything about love, you didn't know anything about God. Right now, we are so busy trying to make sure we got what we got to people out there homeless, people out there sleeping in the snow in blue tents, people out there on the corner begging, help me. And what happened? Rather than help them, you say they ought to go get a job. Now look what Trump is doing, cutting out jobs, cutting out health care, cutting out all the kind of benefits that a lot of people have been relying on for years and years and years. Now all that stuff is being cut out because the devil got a plan, cause you more pain, cause you more suffering. And if you don't like it and take it, they're ready to bring the military on and kill you. That's just what they're ready to do. They don't give a stink about God. Not one stinking thing about God. When you saw them during the State of the Union the other day, Trump said them there, I've said this before, I'm saying it again, lying his butt off. And all of the Republicans that were there, most of them, maybe might have been one or two who, yeah, they were doing it, applauding every time he said some old stupid stuff, some old ignorant, evil stuff. They jumping up applauding. Democrats stand outside and say, we don't want to hear those lies. We don't hear that bull. And they're trying to say a different message to the people. And the message that they're saying to the people is not a new message. It's the same message that the Democrats said the last time and the time before and the time before. But it didn't take the people off the street. It didn't take, even though people were getting food stamps, even though people might have been getting a little housing help, there were still people out there going through the struggle. There were still people going through the changes. Why? Because what we were doing was what the devil allowed us to do, taking the lead and saying, we're not going to let the devil dictate to us anymore. We are going to take the lead in the Spirit of God as it shows us how we want to live. This is how we're going to protect others. We want the best life we could possibly have, and we're going to stand up for others and make sure they have the best life that they can possibly have. And if it means that we have to step down off our high horse every now and then and stand up for people, then we'll step down off our high horse. Don't mean that we don't run a ride on the high horse, but if being on the high horse allows us to not pay attention to what's going on, we get off that horse and pay attention to what's going on. Because when you don't do that, you ain't doing about running around making a monkey out of yourself, driving around, going around. And I think really when my experience is being chasing the opposite sex. You know, everybody loves sex. They'll sell their soul for sex. And that's what they're doing, or money. So I just be honest and tell the truth. Now I want you to know that if you think you're getting into the heaven, you're going to stand up and represent God. And that means represent people who needs representation to the extent that the devil can't stand you and kill your butt. Yes, kill you. And you will be glad because you know that is an indication that you're doing all right. That's when you say, I know God's going to send good and faithful servant. Why? Because the devil couldn't stand you. And the devil can't stand you. God got to love you. Now, there are other levels of heaven, I'm sure. Because not all of you want to get killed trying to do right, but a lot of you want to do right the best you can and hope that you don't get killed. And God recognizes that. Not going to be, I don't really know what's going to happen. Some people say God going to put you in hell and burn you up. I can't believe that because the God that I serve has never told me anything like that. I don't care what I read in the book. And that's because what? I make sure that I do the best that I possibly can. People, that don't mean you got to agree with me. My heart is broken tonight. My heart is really broken tonight because I've trusted America. I trusted America. I came out of prison, Stillwater Prison on 911. That day that planes went into those buildings in New York. That's what the day I was released from prison. I'm sitting there looking at that stuff, and I know what that is a result of. And what has happened? Anything happened better since then? Hell no. The same old stuff that was going on then is going on now. And the preachers, look at you. You ought to be ashamed of yourselves talking about you know God. But if you don't know God, you can't do any better than you're doing. And you're not doing what the stink. I'm going to tell you, you're not doing what the stink. And the folks who go to church, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. You ain't doing what the stink. And get mad with me if you want to. I can't make it. I can't do anything but tell you the truth and try to walk the best as I can walk. And this is what I'm trying to do right now. Tell you the truth that you don't know God. You do not know God. You do not know God. You lying to yourself. You don't know God. You're lying to yourself. You don't know God. Why I say that? Because look at the pain and suffering that's going around. Not just in America, but look in Gaza. Look at it in Ukraine. Look at it in certain other parts of the world that you might already know about, even that I don't know about, but it's existing. And that is the evidence that you don't know God. And for black people, the prophecy says that it is your time. But if you don't get up and take care of business, I'm trying to tell you, you'll be out here another 400 years, but you probably won't last that long because for then, it has been prophesied that the rain came and the floods came and it wiped out so many people. Somebody tried to say that some people still survived. I don't know. Well, obviously some survived because life kept on for some. But the next time it's supposed to be fire. And if you're told that fire is going to come, it's like telling you don't put your hand on the stove. And you're going to put your hand on the stove, it burned. If there wasn't a lack of love, it was trying to tell you that don't put your hand on that stove. So somebody, if it's prophesied that the fire is going to come and burn up all the folks that left around here, you better look at it like that damn stove. You don't put your hand on it, whatever, to keep yourself from catching in that fire. You better pay attention. Now I'm just saying these things to you because I'm really frustrated. I'm frustrated because I don't see anybody. I listen to when we listen to Sunday school. People talk about whatever the Sunday school is about, but it does nothing. You got young people. I got young kids who don't want to think about going to church. And I understand why they don't want to think about going to church for the same reason I didn't want to think about going to church. I made a change for some strange reason. I guess something happened to me. But if nothing happened to these kids, they don't think about going to church. They don't want to hear preachers up there and tell them something about something in a book that happened supposedly thousands of years ago, and it has no real effect on their daily lives when they are hustling and trying to be somebody, trying to live, and life is a struggle. And what you're telling them is not doing one thing to change that. Yeah, it makes me upset. I mean, but they don't need me getting upset, but I do get upset, and I'm upset right now. But I wanted to make sure that I got a chance to say these things to you. I wrote them down, and I didn't follow my writings, and I'm probably sounding like I'm struggling for something. But I hope you got what I'm trying to say. And tomorrow, if everything is all right, God will bless me with some different information, and I'll come back and share that information with you. But I do. Let me see what title did I choose. I wrote a title down here that was kind of impressive to me. I like the title. What is this? What did it say? That title says America chooses hell over heaven. I'm sure over these years I probably said that before, but this is exactly what's happening today. Let me ask you something. Today, you think you're going to heaven. You think you're a good person. You think you're a Christian person. Let me ask you this: did you do anything today that is unchristian like? Did you do anything today that you can look back and say, "Well, I don't know if God disapproved of this, but I did it." Did you do anything like that today? I'm sure you did. We all do it. I did. I don't know what it was, but I'm sure because I do it all the time. But as soon as it comes to me, I ask, man. I ask myself. I didn't say. I talk to myself and say, "Daddy, don't cut that out." I don't even like to fuss anymore. Ooh, can you believe that? Why? Because fussing ain't doing any good. Fussing is doing no good at all. But it takes the spirit of truth to kind of calm you down. And I want to be calmed down because I want to have an impact. But I want you to know this too. I do not want to die. I'm old now. I ain't too old, but I'm old. And I don't want to die because I'm sick. I don't want to die from cancer. I don't want to die from strokes. I don't want to die from heart attack is okay if it takes me right out. We all want to go to sleep and don't wake up. To us, that's the best way to die. But how many of us die that way? A few of us do. But in my experience, all I've seen is people hollering and screaming because of the pain and suffering. I look at the people who stand up for what is right and get killed young, and it's like a blessing. I like a blessing. Right now, I have in my family 5 brothers that are passed already. They were younger than me, obviously. And then my uncles, that's my mother's brothers, 5 of them gone. Now my mother's uncles, not her brothers, but their uncles, which are my great uncles, 5 of them gone. 15 of us over 3 generations, 15 of us boys. Well, I'm still here. I got another brother that's here. Already gone. And none of them really experienced the real life. Nobody was glorifying God the way that God should be glorified. And if that happened to me, that's happened to everybody on the face of the earth. Now you're going to get up tomorrow morning. You might hear this post and you might not. And if you hear this post, how is it going to impact your life? What is it going to make you do? Is it going to make you think about maybe you just should straighten yourself up? Is it going to make you think that? Hell no, it's not going to make you think that. You're just going to think I'm a lunatic. And everybody that you're basically condemning, you're just like them. I've heard people put other folks down for this, put other folks down for that, and you watch them, just watch them. And you will find that they're doing the exact same thing of those that they've been putting down. Why? Because they don't have a life. They don't have anything to stand up for. People, get pissed off if you standing up for God in a certain kind of way, especially if you're trying to get them to do it. Why? Because they don't want the attention. They don't want the focus. I don't want people saying anything to me. I don't want people judging me. Well, hey, baby, if you judge, let it be a good judge, and then it's all right. All right, I think I'm going to stop here. And I want to thank you so very much for giving me this your time. Sorry I had to say these things to you, but for some strange reason tonight, I felt a little strange. It kind of bothered me tonight. And so I just wanted to share this with you. And I hope it means something. And let me say one more thing before I get off this subject. Those of you on TV, you news reporters, you guys out there who got your podcast, and who you're just doing posts and stuff like this, I want you to know your post doesn't free you. Those are just words coming out of your mouth. It might be something that you've known, something that you've represented. But if you haven't represented to the extent that it is changing your life and getting you involved in those things, look at Minneapolis right there. You got these ICE agents over there, put out there by and they're nothing but evil guys, put out there by evil man dog Donald Trump to threaten people, to harass people. And what Minneapolis, I understand, is standing up. I would go over to Minneapolis, but I don't have any transportation. When the buses stop running at a certain hour, and I never too far to be on that bus. But if I had transportation, I'd be right there. But I wouldn't be out there just holding up a sign. I would be telling people the same things that I'm telling them now. If you just out there holding up a sign, doesn't mean anything. Why are these people out there talking about all this ugly stuff? Why are they doing causing all this pain and suffering? You, my friends, at least if I was out there, I'd be telling you the changes that we need to make. We need to be preparing ourselves that nobody would be homeless. We need to be preparing ourselves that nobody would be without a job. We need to prepare ourselves that nobody would be denied health care. We need to be standing up telling the people about the good things of life and what it takes and commit ourselves to do it. And you don't get the devil, he goes away and sit down then because he'll be embarrassed. You see what I'm saying? Think about it, ladies and gentlemen. The next time, this is Eddie Marcus saying thank you so very much for giving me this your moment in time. Goodbye for now.